Okay, today we will talk about the special financial tool and specific financial product from the Chantier d'économie sociale. We made this product since 10 years now, and we talk about turning idea into reality, from idea to action, because since 10 years we create or innovate with financial tool to help social economy enterprise from the really beginning to the growth. The Chantier d'économie sociale Trust understood from the beginning that undercapitalization of social economy enterprise was one of the biggest obstacles for their development. When we talk here, the Chantier d'économie sociale and our risk and trust, when we talk about social economy enterprise, we talk about cooperative and non-profit enterprise, so collective enterprise. And instead, when you are in collective enterprise, you cannot finance or keep investment at the same way that private enterprise, because you cannot sell share. You cannot sell part of the enterprise to financier, to keep investment. You cannot go at the standard process to be financed, like have venture capital, grow the enterprise, and sell the enterprise to market on the stock market or in the market. If you want equity, you have to make the equity by subsidize or by annual surplus. That's the only way to have equity. And so always keep in mind when we talk about the risk or the Chantier d'économie sociale trust product, we always want to replace equity or give equity in social economy enterprise. We are the side of equity, not the side of loan, bank loan, or so on. We always work for one of the weakness of the social economy enterprise, to give equity at the beginning of the enterprise. So and when we talk about from idea to action, it's because we since 10 years we innovate and make new financial product to help social economic enterprise in every stage of development. Like we want to meet with other partner, because we have a lot of social finance ecosystem in Quebec. So we always work with other partners like credit union, like Investissement Québec. But we made 4 or 5 products. We make financial product to help social economy enterprise on every stage. So every financial need, every stage of development, and on every sector. We want to map all the needs. Few words. Risk came into the risk was created by the Chantier d'économie sociale Trust Chantier d'économie sociale, not Trust, in 1997, and it was the first non-profit capital fund, venture capital risk for social economy enterprise in Quebec. It was founded by the Chantier with the support of government. At this moment, the government, provincial government said, okay, if Chantier can keep up to $5 million from private sector in donation on the risk, we will give the same amount of money. So start with the capitalization of $10 million, half from the private sector and half from the provincial government. And at this moment, in 1997, the capitalization of the risk was based on philanthropy, because by the kind of product the risk offered, and we will see the next slide, the risk cannot be profitable, not because it's not a good organization or good manager, because of the kind of product offered. It's impossible to viabilize, to be profitable. You know, in Quebec, because in Quebec, when you ask for a loan of an enterprise, ask a loan of $20,000, $25,000, the bank or credit union said, okay, go to Visa and MasterCard. We don't give this kind of loan because it's not profitable. That's why, from the beginning, it was knew that the risk cannot be profitable with the $10 million because of the kind of product. So we will see later how we work to make the risk more profitable. The private sector and the government didn't invest in the risk. It's a donation. Okay, for this part, almost 10 years after, the Chantier de l'économie sociale with partner created the Chantier de l'économie sociale Trust. It's an investment fund who, like I said before, work in the way of quasi-equity, in the way of make an innovative product to replace equity. In 2006, with a special product, it's investment loan, quasi-equity loan. We invest in enterprise for 15 years without any obligation to reimburse the capital. That's why we call quasi-equity, because the money stays in the enterprise. And at this time, we received 22 million from federal government and subsidized, and we matched with 30 million of investment from Labor Fund, FSTQ and Fonds d'Action, Labor Investment Fund, and from provincial government. So we, instead of the risk, who was really philanthropy, the trusts have investment fund create and with a donation from investment. We receive only part from donation from the federal government, and the 30 other millions, it's investment. It's a loan, it's an investment from Labor Fund and from the provincial government. So they want interest, they want return on the investment, and they want money payback after 15 years. Okay, that's the core business of the Chantier de l'économie sociale Trust. So this our product we will describe later. The other mission of the Chantier de l'économie sociale Trust is to always create new financial tool to specific need of sector or enterprise, social economy enterprise. Core business is to be an intermediate between private sector investment or capital or social finance investor to social economy enterprise or social economy sector. That's why we created the Social Housing Renovated Help Fund, the FARC, to help co-op who was built 30 years ago with the help of federal program, and they have mortgage loan from initially 35 years. They pay since 30 years, 31 years, and they need renovation. So we create a special tool only for 3, 4, 5 years, and we say because you will pay a lot of interest, because a mortgage loan you pay interest at the first, at the end you don't pay interest, you pay only capital. So we said, it's continue to pay your first mortgage, and we will help you pass the gap of 3 or 5 years by our product. I will describe the product after. Okay, so let's see how we match, how we organize our product to help enterprise from the really beginning to not the end, but the achievement of the enterprise. First, identify the need of your community. You identify a product to sell, services to done. So the first thing is, I have a good idea. I want to sell a good idea. The first thing to do is it a good idea? Can I make a business plan with this idea? Because I know I have in this kind a goods, a pencil. I have a need to reach, so help a person to keep a job or to keep a path to be reinserted of the in the enterprise. But is it profitable? Can I make an enterprise with this idea? So it's the first product from the risk. It's the technical assistance when we make. So after the first stage, you have pencil, you have your needs, and you have a business plan. The business plan say, oh yes, it's profitable. It could be a social economy enterprise rentable. So you have to make the enterprise, and so they don't have time to take the business plan into a real enterprise. That's why 5 years ago the risk innovate with another tool, what we call pre-startup and pre-startup fund. It's like the technical assistant, but it's 50,000. Tu commences à 50,000. It's beginning at $50,000 up to $100,000 in 2 years. It's only to pay the person, the future CEO, who will take the business plan and ask partenariat, negotiate partenaire, negotiate how to create the enterprise. So
it's kind of love money. We help business, everybody who have an idea want to start a social economy business. We found that way to share with them the risk of the startup.
So after these two startup and pre-startup, we start the enterprise. The enterprise need investment to start and to grow. That's why with other partner, the Chantier de l'Économie Sociale Trust and the risk invest in enterprise. In the case of the risk, they invest up to between $20,000 up to $50,000, and in certain circumstances up to $100,000. But in average of 7 years, up 5 to 10 years investment term, and they invest up to $50,000, like I said, and with moratorium of repay the capital from 1 to 2 years to help enterprise in the early stage. At this moment, the FIDUCIE, the trust, can invest in the enterprise, and we will see more in detail at the other side, between $50,000 to $250,000 in operation, operation investment, and up to $50,000 to $1.5 million in real estate. If the enterprise need manufacturer using house, not housing, but collective office. So we can help the enterprise both together, but always with other partner, because good investment plan in an enterprise need short-term, long-term, quasi-equity, and real estate standard mortgage loan to be held. So that's why, in our case, FIDUCIE never invest more than 35% of the need of the enterprise. Okay, and after the startup, maybe some enterprise, social economic enterprise, need investment to grow up. To second, some enterprise can come to see the risk because they are in consolidation or recovery phase. They didn't achieve the goal, so they didn't sell enough pencil to be rentable. They need more money in the recovery phases. So the risk can invest at the same amount, up to $50,000 in the recovery phase from enterprise. Trust didn't do that. Don't do the recovery phase unless one of our enterprise who we invest before become in the recovery phase. So we help the enterprise, we continue to invest in the enterprise to help the enterprise. But if the project of investment is to pass through the recovery, we don't do that. Risk do this kind of investment, but the characteristic of our product. Okay, so the rate of interest both for the risk and for the Chantier Trust, it's fixed for the duration of investment. When the risk invests in not the startup and pre-startup because they have no interest, but after that, if they invest for 5, 7, 8 years, the interest is fixed. For the same for the Chantier Économie Sociale Trust, and it's a more big challenge to have a fixed interest rate for 15 years. It's a very long term to have a fixed interest. It's a good advantage for the enterprise because they know the rate for 15 years and for 8 years for the risk. And the amount of investment is for like I said, for technical assistance, it's between $1,000 to $5,000. For pre-startup and capitalization loans, it's $20,000 to $50,000. And for the Chantier Économie Sociale Trust, it depends. If we talk about CPO, capital patient operation, operation cost patient capital, we will invest between $50,000 to $250,000. And if we talk about CPE, or its capital patient investment, real estate patient capital, we will invest between $50,000 to $1.5 million, but always not more than 35% of the needs. Why we invest only up to $250,000 in CPO and instead of 1.5 million? Because it's more risky. Because you invest without any guarantee, you invest in the operational cost. You invest in the operational cost of the enterprise, and it's a lot of money on the operational costs. So, and we invest only 35%. So, if we invest $250,000, it means the enterprise need almost $1 million in operational cost, and we can invest up to 1.5 million in real estate enterprise, real estate patient capital, because we take a second or third rank guarantee, real estate guarantee on the real estate, not to be sure to be reimbursed, because in fact our guarantee doesn't cover our investment. What we want to discuss is something goes wrong with the enterprise. And we invest, like the risk, we invest at the same rate for every enterprise. We said because we want to neutralize the risk, so an enterprise less risky in real estate could say, okay, no, my risk is less risky, so invest in lower rate. In this case, we have to invest in the higher rate in the more risky enterprise, and the more risky enterprise, it's not always, but often because the social utility is more important. So we don't want to have a higher rate in more utility, social utility means goal. So we invest in the same rate and we neutralize the risk. That's why we have to make this kind of level in CPO and CPI, and we didn't invest more. We could invest in CPO and CPI in the enterprise, both only CPO, only CPI, or both of them. And on our portfolio, we cannot invest more than 65% of our money in CPE, in real estate. But we invest more than 65% of the enterprise because the amount is lower than in CPA, but we cannot invest more than 65% of our entire portfolio in CPE. And like we said, the technical assistance, it's only pay technical assistance and startup. The enterprise pay no capital and interest repayment until they complete the project, and they repay only if the project goes on. For the repayment of and the capitalization loan from the risk, it's possibility of moratorium on capital repayment. You know, from the FIDUCIE, but we have no repayment of capital before 15 years, unless the enterprise wants to reimburse us. They could reimburse us after 12 months without any penalty. The basic difference between CPO and CPE, it's the guarantee. First, the guarantee. We take a guarantee in CPE, but CPO is for working capital. What's a working capital? You need money to start the enterprise. For the first second year, maybe the enterprise won't be profitable. Maybe you will need money to help to pay the bill. If I simplify, you need money to pay the bill. You need money, working capital, to start the enterprise. Maybe you will work your enterprise 2, 3, 4 months before make any sale, before make any money. We cannot ask the social economy enterprise to be profitable right now. It's a long term. Sometimes it's right now. It's a collective office. So you open the office. All the office is full, so you make money and you are profitable in the first year. But when you, they took 1, 2, 3 years, it's basically what is we call working capital and what we invest with the CPO and the product of the risk. So it's a very risky investment. That's why we go only to $50,000 to $250,000. The CPE, real estate capital, like the name said, we invest in bricks. We invest in manufacture, invest in office. So we invest to build the plan, and we take a second or third rank guarantee, real estate guarantee, only to have a word to say if something goes wrong. Because, like we said to the enterprise, our name is risk capital, venture capital, risk capital, but we are the less risky for us, because if you lose the enterprise, we don't have any recovery asset in the office, because sometimes the building costs $1 million to build. The value on the market, it's maybe 75%. And if you sell because you are in bankrupt, they sell at 50% of the price. So our CPE is always, very often, not covered by the value of the building. So that's why we said, if you have problem, talk to us. We will help you. In some project, we said, okay, you don't have money to pay us, don't pay us. And we talked with other partner and said, okay, lower your interest. This enterprise needs more time, needs more help. And in one enterprise, they only pay us $1,000 a year, a month for $1 million investment because they don't have this money. And if you sell the building, we will lose our investment. So we said, okay,
You will be patient.
Yeah, I will be. It's a patient capital. So we ask people, okay, what is your recovery plan? What is your strategic plan to don't go to bankrupt? We will help you. So that's why in Quebec, no bank will borrow more than 50% of the value of the building unless there was a side guarantee. So we need our product creation capital in second rent and subsidies and all other kind of rents, other kind of land. But our portfolio, it's a good portfolio. We only add maybe 4% of loss in the FIDUCIE since 10 years, and in the risk, the pertes sont less than 50% of loss with the more risky capital. But when we have loss, we have to work, and in the case of the risk, it's taken by the kind of dotation, more philanthropic. In the case of the trust, we have to act like investment fund. So we have investor that we have to pay less than we invest in enterprise. So our loss, it's covered by the difference between our capital cost and the cost we charge to the enterprise, and we mutualize the risk for all the enterprise. Like I said, fixed rate for everyone, and when same rates for everyone. And when we invest in enterprise, the enterprise pay one time 1.5% of the investment to go to prévoyance mutual risk fund to help to take account of the loss we will have. So we will, in the meaning of mutualize the risk.
So for trust, you have to pay back.
Investor, when we took a part of the investment and we make a more securized investment.